Oh, what?
Do you want to do a fun little intro?
Yeah, sure. What do you want to do?
I don't know.
Think of fusion.
What is a fusion? All right. Hello and welcome everyone to the Realtor Roast, the talk show where we roast real estate myths and brew up smart strategies. I'm your host, Ethan, and today I am joined by...
Hi, my name is Derek, and I am a realtor here in the Southern California area.
Which brokerage are you with?
I am with Real Brokerage.
Real Brokerage over here, EXP over here, also SoCal area too. Today we have a more intimate and direct topic.
Yeah.
We want to talk a little bit more about new builds.
Yes, my favorite topic.
I recently just got introduced into new builds, and I'm starting to wonder why I did not get introduced to them first. Like, you're telling me our entire brokerage let me play with single family residents for an entire year without knowing about new builds. And the minute I find out about them, I don't want to turn back.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Yeah.
With that, that's why we're doing this podcast. We really want to share with, any prospective home buyers, especially first-time home buyers, or even people who are looking to, upsize, downsize. New builds are a great thing to look at for all home buyers, correct?
Definitely a great option. Yeah.
Exactly. So why don't we start off with talking about some of the benefits that these new builds have? First of all, I want to let everyone know the reason why, especially where we're at, Southern California, around like the San Gabriel Valley area, even a little bit further out, there are so many new builds that are being constructed right now.
Absolutely.
And I feel like these are, great opportunities for, first-time home buyers to get their foot in the door. On top of that, they provide a lot of great benefits.
Yeah. In terms of benefits, one of the best things about new builds is because most of the homes, we're in the Alhambra area. So homes here are a little bit older, and which means that the inspections could be a little bit scary sometimes. Mm-hmm. And that's why I really believe that new builds are such a great option especially for first-time home buyers, because they don't have to deal with the scary inspections that they might encounter. But on top of that, they're able to be into a fresh home where nobody has lived in it, and you can create your own story there.
Exactly. Hold on, okay, I just noticed something really quickly. I want to adjust your microphone.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do this live in front of everyone. See how we prioritize our people's viewing experience.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, so another thing that I really want to express about new builds, it's the fact that because they're new and they're not being affected by a lot of like the nearby like housing market problem, for single family residences, for example, for most of you guys who may or may not know, the way that we price a house that, let's say, we're going to list, we pull what's called comparables of homes around the area within usually a 2-mile radius that have closed within the last 6 months. And we take that price, as long as it fits like the general criteria. It has to be a similar home to the price.
Yeah.
And we take that price and we apply it to this home, whether it needs repair or not. We kind of use that as a standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With new builds, most of those don't really apply.
Yeah.
I will say, some, you will see in different areas that they get a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
But most of the time, most of the pricing for those homes are actually based off of what it costs to construct them.
Absolutely. And also dependent on the area, right? So it's really important for new builds just to be, and the pricing for new builds is actually really interesting because typically new builds come out in phases, and they actually first start selling the first phase at the cheapest price possible.
Yep.
And typically when you do buy from the cheapest phase, from phase 1, and you wait up until, for say, the final phase is phase 6, you can actually match up the prices from phase 1 to phase 6, and you already gain equity out of that, which I personally believe is one of the best benefits for new builds. On top of that, you get a 2024, 2025 new build, and there's no problems with the home, and you can just go in peace of mind, and it's amazing.
Yeah, especially the fact that that most of these builders are like giant builders who've been doing this for years and years and years. They have standard codes.
Absolutely.
Definitely will say, though, we have heard from a few of our inspections that just because it's new, you should never, ever skip out on the inspection.
That's true.
You will find that because there's pros and cons to the fact that they're being built by builders.
Yeah.
One, you can ensure that they do meet quality standards, and they're like most of the hazards that you'll see in different places, like plumbing leaks, electrical problems, and all that.
Yeah.
Most of it is out of the blue.
Yeah.
But you will still find a few things popping up here and there for the pure fact that it's done a little bit faster. So that's why you also want to work with a realtor when you're getting these new builds, because you do have the option not to.
Yeah.
But using a realtor will also help you find those smaller inconveniences to make sure you're getting the highest top tier home when
Absolutely.
after it's being built.
And like when you move into the home, you'll get a little bit more peace of mind.
Yeah.
And with the whole process, it'll be a lot smoother. So.
Yeah, and so pretty much again, what I wanted to say back when it came to the pricing of the house, because it's not being fluctuated by the comparable areas and all that, you're actually paying like a much cheaper, like what you would see around usually.
Yeah.
Usually. I'll say usually, because I will say there's definitely a few out here that are a lot higher priced than what you would see around.
Yeah.
But what I mean is that you'll get more bang for your buck.
Absolutely.
When you go around California, a lot of these people are seeing these $1 million homes that are like super deteriorated, man.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
like
so much work into it.
my biggest example is Rosemead right now.
Rosemead.
I think Rosemead is one of those places that are super duper old, never been touched, never been renovated.
Yeah.
But all of the properties there are worth like
What people
900,
overbid. Yeah.
$1 million plus. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
You have a new build right across the other city, and you can just go there.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is much better.
We just had a light die on us. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh,
We'll
no
leave
worries.
it. But yeah, exactly. It's stuff like that. And I was like, okay, but then you take that $1 million, split it in half, and you go to a new build community.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you found a new home.
Yeah.
3 floors, maybe 2 times bigger than what you were looking at in Rosemead.
Oh yeah.
The only con, again, like another con about like new builds that you'll get is that you'll probably, if you're really school district orientated, you probably won't find it in the school district that you want it to.
Yeah.
Especially SGV, I heard so many people like say no to new builds because they're like, we're really set on Monterey Park. We're really set on Arcadia.
Yeah.
We don't want to go to Montebello because there's no school district in
Yeah.
Montebello that we want to be at.
It's in very rare cases that it's in the school district that you'll want.
Yeah.
But obviously the prices are going to be a little bit higher than what you're going to be expecting. But if that's what you're looking for, then that's kind of the price you're going to have to pay. So yeah.
Yeah, and again, that kind of dives us to our next question, like what kind of people should be interested in new builds?
Yeah. I personally believe it's fitted for all buyers, in my personal opinion, especially for first-time home buyers, because one is you don't have to worry about the inspection in most cases from my experience. And second is there's so much inventory. There's so much inventory, so you don't have to compete with anybody else. And the best part about that is, in real estate, the hardest part is figuring out the price, what the seller wants. Yeah. Whereas in new builds, you're able to already understand what the pricing is, and it's either you like it or you don't like it.
It's first
As
come,
easy as
first
that.
serve.
And first
Yeah.
come, first serve, yes.
And I think that's really fair,
Yeah,
know?
I agree.
And the fact that there's at this rate right now, there's no
Yeah.
rarity in them.
Yeah.
If you're one of those people, like I have a client right now who works from home. She's like all over the place. She's like, I have no idea where I want to go. I'm open to anywhere. I think new builds are probably one of the best options because it's
Yeah.
like at least just start shopping new builds
Yeah.
across every city.
Yeah.
If you don't like one of them, you'll probably find another one that you'll like
That's
along
true.
the way.
That's very true.
There's no absence of new
Yeah.
builds right now.
Yeah, and as you said, like most of the people that have homes right now, most of their homes are deteriorating. So it's becoming a little bit older. Remodeling is not getting cheaper as it goes. So
Yeah.
and just to add on to that is just new builds offer so many incentives for the first time home buyers, which I think is a great way to get into the market. And on top of that, gain a little bit of equity that's around your area.
Yeah, and again, so new builds are for one, they hold equity too. I feel like when it comes to, I definitely agree when it comes to what kind of people are meant for new builds. I do agree with you on the sense that it's like first time home buyers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do think there are certain people who might not benefit from new builds too, though. My list for that, elderly people.
Elderly.
Because the one thing about new builds right now is most of them are tri-levels.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right? So when you're a lot of people, some of the elderlies already live in like tri-levels or like those complexes in
Yeah.
the hearts of the suburbs and all that.
Yeah.
You're trying to move them to like any new builds out in Covina or anything, most of them are tri levels. There's going to be a lot of staircases.
Yeah.
Unless you have a very active and fit elderly,
Yeah.
which comes really rare. But if you are,
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah,
I want to be like you.
Don't forget to don't leave the keys upstairs.
Yeah, like in that scenario, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think for most people, elderly is one thing. If you're very school district conscious, new builds, at least unless you're willing to accept, the school district that they're currently built in,
Yeah.
They might not, you might not find that many in your area.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to we'll use Arcadia for the example. Arcadia is like of SGV, most people want to go to Arcadia.
Yeah, number one school district of the country.
Yeah, 2023 ranked number 1.
Yeah.
Holla, as an Apache myself. But like when it comes to like Arcadia or something, finding a new build there is you're probably there's not going to be any big construction new builds.
Yeah.
There's no Toll Brothers, there's no Lennar out there. There's just like independent company building those like new properties.
Yeah.
That's your best case scenario. But even then you're going to be paying a lot more.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think in Arcadia too, people, because they know just how high in demand it is, because they're not building a new community, they're just building one like, what would you call it?
It wouldn't be unit, but it'd be more of like a.
They would build it on one plot.
Yes, one plot land. Yes. Yeah.
So the difference between these individual ones compared to like the ones we're talking about, which is Toll Brothers, Lennar, all those other companies, these ones, they build it off of one plot. They buy a big plot of land and they add new homes to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
wow.
So that for that reason, then comps would actually be more involved.
Yeah.
Because now your surrounding area does affect you.
There was actually a new build in Montebello, and the new build is called Metro Heights. We've been there before.
I love Metro Heights.
Metro Heights is beautiful, 3-story communities, all single family, with even with some with views. But one of the cons of a new build so their subdivision, or like how they build their houses, is 3 houses are actually in one plot land.
Exactly.
One plot land, and that's actually a little bit more dangerous, because that means if one home happens to have something happen to them in terms of liability, actually all 3 of them, because they're on the same plot land, would actually have to be liable for the damages.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit scary, but only some new builds are like that.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, even when that does happen though, there's a lot of I feel like there's a lot of understanding when it comes to that situation, for one, because they are different addresses too. But that's another thing that you pointed out that I really like, is that so when it comes to bigger companies, they buy out multiple plots of land.
Yeah.
And they literally create an entire community around that one place, which is something that I really do appreciate. Yeah. So I was door knocking, and I was advertising the Pomona new builds, right? And this guy was like, "Pomona, that's kind of a crappy place, isn't it?" And I'm like, "You said it, man." I said, but yeah, I was like, "Hey, Pomona, that your opinions are yours, but at least from what I can tell you, these new builds are completely enclosed."
Yeah, as long as the home isn't on Holt Avenue, then we're good.
Is that a bad area?
That's the worst part about Pomona. That's where everything is Holt Avenue. But
I didn't know that. But but like they build a community around it, so it's kind of like. The one thing I really like about these new builds is no matter what area you're in, these bigger companies, they literally enclose it off. They have private security and everything. They have the check-in booth. You can't walk in without being approached by security.
Yeah.
You can't drive in without being approached by security, which I really, really, really like. So it's very secure.
Yeah, it is.
For sure.
It is.
I think if you're going in Pomona, I actually genuinely don't know how, if Pomona's a bad or good area. I'm not out there much. But let's say it was a really, really bad area. No hate to Pomona. This is an example.
This is just what we've heard.
No, I didn't hear anything. I've never heard anything, okay? This is for him. But let's say Pomona was a really, really bad area. I would still, to an extent, trust buying a new build out there because of
Yeah.
just how large those communities are
Yeah.
and how they're all walled up, how safeguarded they are. There's exterior security
Yeah.
like cameras and everything. That's pretty much like tens of thousands of dollars worth of security equipment that you would be
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about. You don't
And-
have to buy.
And on top of that, I feel like the builders would do research. Like I've never heard. I would never imagine a builder saying, let's build in this bad area and then just hope we make money."
This opens up a lot of opportunities for people. So what I say to especially first-time home buyers, their biggest, it's I would say it's pretty hard. Like we would agree as realtors, it's really hard to work with first-time home buyers, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And of those reasons is because they're very picky.
Yes.
They want to make sure whatever literally the biggest purchase of their entire life
yeah.
right now.
And they want to get it at a good deal.
They want a good deal.
They want a good deal.
They want it move-in ready. They don't want to worry about any problems that's going to happen later on.
Yeah.
They want to jump into home ownership essentially without any of the responsibilities of home ownership.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to most houses nowadays, like single-family residentials, you're probably not going to get that unless you have a couple extra tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars to put into like completely remodeling the place. You know, like unless you're willing to work with contractors to go through their entire place and upgrade your plumbing, upgrade your facilities, whatever.
Yeah.
Or a more realistic example is paying a investor fee. So a lot of people don't know this, but investor fees, whenever you find turnkeys homes, usually they're flips from investors.
Yeah.
But obviously they need to make a profit too, so they incur what's called a investor fee. That is like, they bought the house at this price plus whatever they put into the house to renovate it, plus they need some profit out of this.
Yeah.
So in order to skip that investor fee, you go straight to new builds.
Yeah.
Cost them whatever it costs them to build it.
Yeah.
But there's no new builds.
That's true.
You
Yeah.
know?
On top of that, actually, do you have any clients that aren't looking for HOA? Because that's also,
yes.
I would say that's also one of the cons as well, because basically all the new builds that I've ever been to have had HOA.
I mean,
And
it's a community.
Yeah.
They should.
Yeah. And on top of that, actually, in the beginning, they actually price HOAs pretty high from my experience.
Yeah.
And then when everything gets built out, that's when the
It goes
HOA
lower.
prices. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's also one of the, I guess, one of the cons from buying a new build. So.
Yeah. I think for one, yeah. So HOA is definitely one thing, but I would say like looking at all of these prices of these new builds, especially for most of the clients that I know, especially like around this area, San Gabriel Valley area,
Yeah.
they start off with $1 million budgets.
Yeah.
You get them pre-approved, they're like at 1.1, 1.3. These are like your young professionals, and they spent their entire like the last 5-7 years working their butts off.
Yeah. Saving that money.
Yeah, saving that money so that they could buy a house. They want turnkey, and I'm telling them, you could take that $1 million, you can spend 800, buy a new build, take that other 200, and go do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
with
Exactly.
it,
Exactly.
You're gonna be saving a lot more money. Yes, you will be paying $200-300, maybe $500 for your HOA every month, but I think with that kind of saving money, you're benefiting in the long run.
And it might actually be
Lower.
Yeah, it might be lower, and on top of that, equity was going to grow either way.
Definitely.
So I think it's definitely a great option. You're completely right about that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I want to branch off a little bit more too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about some of the benefits that these new builds are offering. So each company is different. Each community is different.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that happen in the market that causes these companies to react in a way. These companies need these new builds sold. They're actually probably more desperate than residential sellers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's why they offer realtor fees. That's why they allow random realtors to walk in and still do property showings unscheduled.
Yeah.
Remember when we went to Metro Heights?
Yeah.
We went in at 5 p.m. and it was raining and that guy wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Their salesman wanted to leave, but he knew that because he needed us there.
Yeah.
He was like, fine,
Yeah,
you guys just do
absolutely.
your thing. Just try to wrap up before 5. We wrapped up at 5:30. He kept us there, actually. We were going to leave at 5 and he kept us there 30 more minutes to talk to us. Talking to us about all the incentives and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, okay.
He actually from what I've learned about new builds is actually they need to sell out that current phase that they're selling in order to sell the next one,
Exactly.
which is it actually puts a lot of pressure on the salespeople.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it is a lot more pressure for them, but at the same time, there's more inventory for the buyers, so
Yeah,
no
but
downside.
at the end of the day too, it is also more expensive the longer it goes, like at
Yeah.
the next phase too.
Yeah.
So each phase that comes along, it actually gets harder and harder and harder to sell.
Yeah.
Which is why I say, you know, for one, when those new builds come out and you're real, like for us, your realtors, I've been sending out all these new builds information to my clients, and I send to you like, hey, check it out. There's this completely new build in this area that you said you're okay with going
Yeah.
to. You should get it now because phase one, cheapest it's ever gonna be.
Yeah.
Next year, 2 years, you're probably gonna get a couple 10,000,
Probably way more. Yeah.
100,000.
I would say, I mean, the one we bought around 2 years ago, we bought it for the cheapest one. We bought it in the first phase.
The one in Pomona, correct?
One in Pomona, yes. We bought it for 600,000. Now the same exact model, same exact floor plan. Now it's selling for 723,000.
That's almost $100,000.
Yeah.
That's over $100,000 in equity.
And on top of that, in the meantime, when everything was being built out, we just been renting it. So we just been getting passive income from it, and it's been incredible.
Wow.
Incredible. I've had no problems with it. It's amazing.
So, you just added on to another statement that I was going to make too when it comes to people who are looking to buy new builds. Investors.
Oh, amazing.
If you have
Absolutely.
liquidity and you want if you have liquid cash and you need a place to, or even if you just have a good down payment and you want a place where your money's going to work for you,
Yeah.
buy a new build.
Yeah.
If you want to invest in real estate and you don't want to crank out all the numbers of whether this investment's going to be right or
Yeah.
not, buy a phase one, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Just buy phase one. And either way, I mean, investors, I've heard a lot of investors talk about this, but when they put in their money into a home, it's basically just parking your money.
Yeah.
Parking your money and then waiting for it to grow, and then in the meantime, just wait for somebody to rent it out, and then you just build it up from there.
Yeah, while you're renting it out, you're going to get income. And then when you sell it, it's like all of that money and all that entire lump sum plus more
Yeah.
is going to come back to you.
Yeah. I mean, the money is bound to go somewhere, so you might as well just put it into a property.
Exactly. And
So-
people love new builds.
Yeah.
I think every time I've told a first-time homebuyer about new builds, I see a little glimmer in their eyes light up a
Yeah.
little bit because they're like, I'm so
like,
tired of looking
"New?"
at these. Yeah, they're like, I'm so tired of looking at all of these crappy houses, and they're all out of my budget.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the ones that I've been pushing is Candace in Covina. Sorry, no, the one in Pomona. I forgot what that one's called. Stratus, was it?
I just know that they were built by Century Homes. Yeah. Not sure what the community is called, but we can get the information right.
Century Homes in Pomona.
Yes.
I've been pushing those out a lot.
Yeah.
Those places are really, really nice, and I'm
Amazing
actually
view.
about to do another Century Homes tour to one that's not even out yet.
Yeah.
This week,
Yeah.
and that video will be out on this channel too.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tour one in El Monte.
Oh wow.
So they're opening up a completely new building in El Monte. They haven't even touched phase one yet.
Wow.
After all that we've said, there's so many benefits to coming to a stage one
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
But again, another thing that I want to emphasize when it comes to sorry, it just hit me.
No worries.
I completely forgot about the benefits.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now that we're talking back on the new builds in Pomona,
Mm-hmm.
I want to explain again, like, what are some of these incentives that these new builds offer.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you got this when you guys purchased that new build in Pomona,
Mm-hmm.
but right now, what if you saw my Instagram, they were
Yeah.
advertising a $50,000 credit
Sounds about right. Yeah.
to new buyers.
Yeah.
You could take that 50,000 credit to either one, get free solar installed for you,
Mm-hmm.
or two, get a 5% lockdown. It was a 5% interest rate lockdown.
Yeah.
It was somewhere in the higher mid fives.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
obviously right now it's right now, as of right now, interest rates are high sixes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the fact that they offer those 5% buy down,
Yeah.
you can tell they really want
Huge.
yeah,
Yeah.
they really want you to go through their lender. They really want you to be able to,
Yeah.
buy their property. They want to
Absolutely.
provide you anything.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
it's really good. It's
Yeah,
really good not to
because
say no.
like the first time in a market where we have new builds catering to actually a buyer's needs.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing because not only do you have the freedom to buy down your rate, get a lower interest rate, get free closing costs, do any upgrades that you want with the home. It's definitely a great option for buyers just to come in and just have multiple options to do what they want.
Yeah.
Whereas if we were doing a single family, we have no power.
Yeah.
Unless we get seller concession, but that's never guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But builders are so much more lenient.
Yes. Yeah.
And again, when I say it's like bang for buck, again, I do also want to tell a story.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had clients in Alhambra, and we were going to put in an offer on a property, right? The day before we submitted that offer, they went to go tour a new build in Ontario.
Oh.
So the property in Alhambra was 800,000,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they went to the one in Ontario, it was 600,000. I think 580. They're like, we don't think we want to put an offer on this house anymore.
Oh
I was
my
like, "No,
God.
why?" I was like, why? They
Yeah.
were like, we looked at the new builds in Ontario and we loved it.
Oh.
And I was like, okay. And they're like, so we're gonna move in a couple, but we have to wait till next year because
I
they had
see.
like stuff with their family. So
Yeah,
but
yeah.
so pretty much I lost my clients to new builds.
Oh.
I didn't
no.
lose them, but
Yeah, yeah,
the
but they're
latest
still there,
sale,
they're still there, yeah.
the latest sale
Yeah.
for new builds, and I'm just saying like, I know so much more other people will have that same feeling too.
Yeah.
Where they walked over to a new build and they're like, you just get so much more for so much less.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And on sorry, were you gonna say something?
No. You're good.
Yeah. On top of that, actually, from what I've seen from new builds, so actually, around COVID, that's when new builds started going absolutely up with everything. People started being in more demand. People started buying more new builds because everything was so affordable. And during that time, the most popular new build that I was hearing of every single day was the Preserve in Chino. And the Chino Preserve actually taught me a lot about how new builds influence an area. Because originally Chino back in COVID was around, they were selling homes at around 400, 500,000. And people were like, this is really unheard of. Let's move there.
Wow.
And all the demand went all the way to Chino and they ran out of inventory. Wow. Yeah, they ran out of inventory. So they extended it to Eastvale and then Eastvale from Rancho and then Rancho to Ontario. And Chino grew so much in value because of the demand that it pushed all the demand all the way to the other areas.
Wow.
And it blew my mind on like what new builds could actually do to an area. But because now Rancho, you can find $1 million home there. Whereas before in 2019, 2020, you could only find like a $300,000, $400,000 for a single family.
Yeah, so they do really well for the community.
Yeah,
around too.
and it's incredible because there's so much demand now in the Inland Empire. And then that's actually where most of the affordability is going to be going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see a lot of like newer new builds shifting to the IE.
Yeah.
I think that's kind
A
of like
lot.
a great place for people to start their equity journey.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
definitely, there are some cons with the IE too.
Yes.
You're away from the big city.
Yeah. Heat.
Heat. There's still a lot of undeveloped land in the IE too.
There is.
So, there's a lot more plans that's happening there.
Absolutely.
I've known a few of my friends who've bought in communities out there, not directly in new builds, but they bought in communities out there.
Yeah.
So it's still very, very nice area.
Yeah.
But it's far. It's far from everything.
It's far, yeah. It's definitely more of a long-term game. If you want to grow up to that type of equity, because that's exactly with what happened with Chino. Chino originally was a farmland. Everywhere smelled like cow. And yeah, it was terrible,
They
terrible.
got donkeys in Riverside.
Yeah. Yeah, so it definitely does take some time, but if you're willing to wait it out, then the equity is there. Equity is for sure there.
I do want to break into a little bit more about let's say, some of these people, they really are interested into looking into some new builds, so curious now. Let's talk about some of the ones that, are around the area that are still kind of like for sale in their mid to early phases. And let's kind of like give a quick synopsis of what they're what they provide.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna do the
Yeah.
sales reps jobs
Yeah.
for them. All right. I think the first one I really do want to note is gonna be our favorite one,
Yes.
Metro Heights.
Metro Heights.
Metro Heights in Montebello is definitely my most favorite new build right now.
Yeah, and we were literally just there like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So,
When it was raining.
yeah.
We were there when it was raining. We were
Yeah.
touring it when it was raining, but it's definitely it's definitely the luxury new build.
Yes, absolutely. Metro. They're building a new development area on the other side. So
Yeah, so
yeah.
oh, so not even phases anymore.
Not even phases anymore. They're building a new project on the other side.
Are they sold out?
They are sold out. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's long gone already.
Yeah.
They're building a new one, right? So they're
Yes.
gonna is it also by toll?
It's also by toll. Yeah.
Beautiful. That's what I like to hear.
Which is my personal favorite
My
builder.
personal favorite,
Yeah.
too.
Definitely luxury is definitely their thing. So
So now that we know that there's gonna be a new Toll Brothers development behind Metro Heights, you know that. Do we know if it's gonna be luxury or not, or is it gonna?
this one is going to be luxury.
It's gonna
Yes.
be the same thing. Is it
Same thing, different floor plans, but still within that 1.7 to 2 mil range.
similar look too,
Yes,
right? Okay,
yeah.
even better. So yeah, I think Metro Heights is definitely the luxury area.
Absolutely.
If you have that, if you can afford that 1.7 to 2 mil,
Oh yeah.
you know, I feel like compared to most other places around, like, you know, our area, most luxury places you would find towards Sierra Madre, Arcadia.
Yes.
I feel like if you were looking for the new, the better, the, you know, high view, like viewpoints and everything,
Yeah.
private gates and everything, active security, you want Metro Heights.
Metro Heights. Yep.
Right?
Yeah. And it's crazy. You wouldn't think because the first phase they had over 300 phases, 300 homes, and it completely sold out. So there are buyers out there.
100%. Like there's so many.
Yeah.
All right, what's another one that you?
Oh, I definitely have to go with my hometown. So I'm from Diamond Bar. We have the new terraces in Walnuts, and they are not sold out yet. But they are also building a 3-story community. Originally, they were all 2-story, and now they're building a 3-story community way up on the mountain, which is
Are
going to
they
be
two-
huge.
Do I remember them? Yeah, I do remember
Not
the
built out yet.
Oh, they are 2 stories. The
2
terraces
stories.
at Walnut, they
Yeah.
are 2 stories.
2 stories.
But they barely just started though.
Barely.
It's only been a year for them.
Only been a
Do you
year.
know which phase they're at now?
They're in the last phase right now.
Okay.
Last
The
phase.
the upper
Yes.
the upper part. Yeah.
And they grew in value so much, but now they're building out a third community plan, which is going to be 3 stories,
Wow.
and it's going to be all single family, and it's going to increase the value of the entire neighborhood by a ton.
100%.
Yeah.
The terraces in Walnut were actually the first new builds I've actually been to.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they were the very first ones I was at. It was because I was helping Denny record his videos, and Denny and Arthur record his videos at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And it's crazy because when I first went there, that was when I was still a new agent. That was back when we were still at KW.
Yeah.
The prices were way cheaper.
Way cheaper.
I went when me and Arthur went back a couple weeks, like just a couple weeks ago. They've grown substantially in value already,
Yeah.
just off of the new, just for the fact of existing.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest beauties about
Yeah.
new builds is that equity comes just by having it.
But just by sitting there.
You don't have to do like any single family resident stuff where you have to wait those long years and
Yeah.
hope that the stuff around you goes up for higher too.
Exactly.
I mean, which in most of the time they do, but it definitely is a longer term game when it comes to single family residents.
Yeah. Yeah.
New builds by any chance, you know, like they go up like that.
Yeah.
Another one I want to bring up is the new upcoming ones in El Monte.
El Monte.
So also by Century Communities, and it's called Brookhaven.
Brookhaven. Oh wow.
This one, not even phase 1 yet. They're actually going to be ready in April 4th.
April 4th. Oh, very soon actually.
Very soon.
Wow.
But not, yeah. So my biggest thing is that I want to get a tour out there as soon as possible. That's also going to be on this video, like I said. I mean, that's also going to be on this channel, like I said. And I really want to, you know, because El Monte is so close to my hometown,
Yeah.
I really want to push that one out a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And considering that you have that information of when it's going to come out, that's pretty.
Yeah, maybe I should have.
No, that is a huge benefit, especially with all the people that you're working with, and it's a huge benefit just being a real estate agent.
Again, yeah, like being a realtor when it comes to having a realtor when it comes to new builds, it's always for that double line of security.
Yes.
You know, you don't ever want to buy something straight from the seller because the seller can say whatever they want. The seller can say
Exactly.
it's built with top-notch quality.
Yeah.
Who said so? From who? from the inspector that you hired?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
And on top of that, you know, it's good to also have a realtor because they also, especially one that is really well orientated with new builds too,
Yeah.
because we also understand what's around the area.
Yeah.
If you're looking at
Yeah.
this one and you're still on the fence, well, like there's like 30 others around it
Yeah.
that could also like that could also pique your interest.
Absolutely.
That could fit your criteria. Let's say you want to spend a little bit more and get a bigger place. Let's say it's too small, you know, that's definitely one thing. So yeah, definitely Brookhaven. There's also another one by Brandywine Homes called Avila.
A villa.
Yeah.
Which city is that in?
Oh, sorry, Brookhaven. I forgot to even say the next
Oh, I see.
the price. Brookhaven is at 740. Starting at 740.
Oh, wow.
So
Very affordable.
yeah, Avila has actually been here for a while. I think they've been here for a little over a year. It's also in El Monte too.
El Monte.
That is going for 690 right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I do want to say this one thing about like when it comes to, especially since I know El Monte a lot more, I feel a lot more confident saying this.
Yeah.
Back to like, you know, what we said about what my client said about what that person that I door knocked said about Pomona, how he said, oh, it's in a bad area, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
El Monte is not that bad of an area.
Yeah.
You know, like I've grown up around it. But the one thing about El Monte that does irk a lot of people is that it's in it's industrial. It's mainly factories. It's mainly warehouses. Office space, all of that, right? The beautiful things about you know, these new builds, Avila, Brookhaven, all that, it's the fact that, you know, again, the enclosed community makes
Yeah.
it feel like none of that stuff is right out there. You know,
Yeah.
the 210 is not right above you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like as far as it pretty much is the the 210. You kind of forget that it's not the 210. Sorry, the 10. The 10 is not like you don't see it.
Directly, yeah.
You know, or it's like it's not gonna be like something where it feels like it's gonna be an impediment or like
Yeah.
something that you're not gonna want to work
Yeah.
with. You know, like it definitely does a good job of creating that space of wow, this is really nice. You know, I'm forgetting all of these warehouses that are down the street.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's true.
It's like it's a perfect way of turning a blind eye.
Yeah.
I think that's a bad way of putting it, but
Yeah. No, I mean, considering it's even new, I feel like that's just peace of mind already.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about how someone else like maintained it. You don't have to worry about structural damages because
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
brand new.
Yeah.
Do you have any other new builds that you want to mention too?
Oh, new builds. I mean, they're all around. They're in LA County, Inland Empire, Orange County. I mean, my personal favorite is Walnuts, Metro Heights, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
And there's even some new builds in Yorba Linda that I absolutely love as well. So
I'm crossing my finger that I will be able to sell more Metro Heights after
absolutely.
they open up that new one. I can't wait for them to
The
start.
demand is gonna be crazy.
I know
crazy,
the
crazy.
fact that they sold out so quickly.
Yeah, especially at that price range in a market like this.
I know, 2 million.
Yeah.
And when we were there, we were like, how are we gonna find a client? with 2
Yeah.
mil?
There
And there it
there's
is.
people out there. Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah. It's pretty nuts, but there's definitely people out there. There's definitely a market for it.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm looking at another one too. Arroyo Ridge, which is 1.2 mil.
Yeah.
This is by Monte Vista. So, obviously you know the Arroyo Seco stream, right? So this is what city is this in? It's kind of like on the borderline of South Pass to Highland Park. This is in Highland Park.
I see.
So these are new builds in Highland Park, and they're actually built out like single family style.
Wow.
So these are built by Monte Vista Homes, but the best part about these houses that I think is that they overlook, like they have a very nice viewpoint. They're on the mountains of the Arroyo
Yeah.
Seco.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to see everything. Great view. You know, the fact that it's well built. You know, that it's 1.9 to 2.3,
Wow.
2.4.
Wow.
And I think for that, you know, if you're interested in great views and you know, single family style new builds,
Yeah.
this is definitely the one, because these are 1 to 2 stories.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And actually you bring up a pretty interesting point, but you have so many options with just what the buyer wants, and you can kind of give them a new perspective on whether or not they're looking for 1 story, 2 story, how the floor plans are going to
Yeah.
look like.
Yeah.
There's even bigger models, smaller models, so it kind of caters to everything for what the buyers are wanting.
Definitely. All right.
Yeah.
I think we covered a lot about, you know,
Yeah.
what these new builds have to offer.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some potential drawbacks.
Ooh.
And
Okay.
I think that would be a good note to help these people kind of figure out, like, do we want to look into new builds? Do we want to call
Yeah.
Derek or Ethan
Yeah.
about our new builds, about,
Yeah.
you know, our next home purchase?
Yeah. I oh man, drawbacks. I actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because I personally think that um the cons of new builds or the drawbacks actually all comes from actually when Irvine started building out.
Really?
In my personal opinion,
That's
because
like all of Irvine.
all over and it's funny because Irvine has over oh my god, I heard about this. Irvine has over 1,200 subdivisions.
Oh my God.
Subdivisions of new builds everywhere. And the one thing people talk about in Irvine, it looks all the houses
Look the same.
yeah, they're all a cookie cutter.
Yeah.
They're all cookie cutter. They all look the same. Very little land. I think that's the main point. Very little land. And I feel like when Irvine started building out everything, people from the public were like, "Wow, there's no land anywhere." And it's it's a little bit funny now because now when we look at new builds now, the house is beautiful, interior is amazing, but where's the land?
Yes. Where's the land?
Yeah.
That's a very good. That's actually a very good statement.
Yeah,
One thing about new builds that I think are some drawbacks.
yeah,
Some new builds, each one is different, but
yes,
you don't get much yard space.
yeah,
There's barely. I mean, it's there.
yeah.
It's not that there's none at all.
Yeah,
There
it's
is
just-
some.
Yeah, it's probably the size of like this.
This space, yeah, this studio space, like from that couch, from the end of the couch to here,
Yeah,
like there's greenery for sure.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
definitely if we're comparing like Metro Heights, like, you know, the house itself was grand.
yeah,
The house itself, high ceilings, beautiful,
Yeah.
but super duper small
Yes,
outside space.
yeah.
You could probably not host. You probably couldn't host more than 5 to 7 people out there.
yeah.
Again, it varies between new builds, like the terraces in Walnut.
Yes, they're a little bit. They're slightly a little bit bigger.
Maybe
yeah.
30, 20 people.
Yeah, but in like very rare cases, they are a little bit bigger.
But you're not gonna get a full like backyard
Yes,
space like
yeah.
you would at single family.
yeah,
If backyard space is really important to you,
yeah,
single family might be your best.
yeah,
Would probably be a good option. But
Yeah.
again, it's like it's one of those things where it's like, unless you have the money, you can't have it all.
yeah. That's true.
You know,
That's
like
very true.
if your budget is strictly like 600,000 or a million, you know,
Yeah.
you're deciding between I want a new house, with minimal yard,
Yeah.
or I want minimal house with big yard.
Yes. Yes.
Those are your trade-offs when it comes to, you know, I think when low budgets when it comes to new builds.
Yeah.
Again, I definitely do agree with you on the part where it's like they all look the same.
Mhm.
Some, you know, I know there's a lot of, I'm sure you've met some of these people before,
Yeah.
but there's some buyers out there who are like, we need this unique space. I want this house because it's
You
unique.
have to have Spanish columns.
Yeah, I want my friends to come to my house and never see it before.
Yeah.
You know, like I need to be that person.
Yeah.
Without reason, maybe new builds may not be for you. I
Yeah.
mean, there are solutions to that with new
There are.
builds.
There are.
They offer you like when they build out those new builds, like you can remodel it too.
Yes.
You know, like they offer like extra add-ons like marble
Yes.
backsplashes,
Yeah.
waterfall style, you know, tables like the ones that bars that they had at
Yeah.
Metro Heights. I love those ones, by the way.
Yes.
Those are really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
But it's like unless you want it to be super duper unique, you want it to be like a house
Yes.
no one has ever seen before.
Yeah.
Maybe new builds might not be the best option for you because again they have to do
Yeah.
it. They have to make a lot of them.
Yeah.
So of course they're gonna stick to certain floor plans. They usually have like 3 or 5 floor plans that you can
Yes.
choose out of
Yeah.
and select.
And sorry, can I add on?
Yeah,
to that?
of course.
You
No,
you
you
t-
can't.
you talked about you talked about the upgrades, which I think is actually one of the drawbacks because when you bring a buyer into a new build or into a model, their expectations go sky up.
Yeah.
Sky up because they see all these renovations, these upgrades in the build,
The
and they're
marble
like,
backsplash.
yeah, they're like, really 1.3 can get me this, but in reality, when you're actually trying to do something like that, it's gonna go up to like 1.4,
Yeah, it's
1.45.
they give you like a naked, like the actual house they build is a little bit
Yeah.
more naked than what they
Yeah.
have. One of the biggest things that I've always made my clients know whenever they talk about new builds
Yeah.
is the yards.
Yeah.
Like especially at Metro Heights, their backyard was beautiful.
Yeah.
The pool, they had a pool out there.
Yeah.
And we asked, does the pool come with the thing? They were like, no, they don't. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny that they do that because even if you want to do anything on the exterior, you would have to go through it with HOA,
Yeah.
which it's a little bit because it's kind of it's not over promising, but it's a kind of over delivering on the house itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I think that like when you go into new builds again, you have to take everything that you see at face value.
Yes.
Imagine what it would look like without the marble inlays
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
I think when we went to the terraces in Walnut, one of the funniest thing Arthur pointed out was that the in the kitchen they had vaulted ceilings. But those didn't actually
Yeah.
come with the thing. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what? But they look like they look like they really would. Of all the
Yeah.
things you point out, like the marble backsplash that goes behind the stove,
Yeah.
or like even the bar being marble, like they'll just give you a wooden one,
Yeah.
or even the marble countertops, they just give you a regular wooden one. I was like, of all things, I felt like that would have been
Yeah.
included. Sometimes the light fixtures aren't even
Yeah.
included too.
Yeah.
We didn't even go that deep in depth with the ones at Metro Heights,
Yeah.
because for all I know, like when we looked at the highest value one, I forgot what it was called, but there was a really nice chandelier that hung all the way down from the 3 floors.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're actually included.
Yeah, I mean, I would. It is a great reference.
It's a great reference.
It is a great reference
For sure. I'm still not taking back from the fact that they're great houses.
Yeah, yeah.
Still worth the money without those
Definitely,
things.
definitely.
You know, 'cause at the end of the day, it's when I say it's more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
It's because it's bigger.
Yes.
It's
yeah.
bigger. It's modern. You know, like the foundation that they give you is way stronger than
Yeah.
I mean, to build the house is way stronger than the foundation that you'll get when you go to single family.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not talking about the actual like foundation, but I'm talking about like the design foundation.
Yeah. I especially like with my clients, I don't want I kind of don't want the like the McDonald's effect, whereas like what you see on commercial is exactly like imagine like the slow burger falling on the camera,
dude.
and then the burger looks delicious at the end, and but then when you actually go to McDonald's, like one bun is all flattened down, one is like the patty's on the side, and then the sauce is falling out.
Yeah.
It looks really ugly. So I'm like, oh my, okay, so I definitely have to set the expectations that.
Yeah, like you have to
Yeah.
remind them, like, hey, like just pay attention to the walls.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, it was funny because when we went to Metro Heights and we looked at the models, like the front looked really nice.
Yeah.
We're like, oh wow, this driveway was so nice, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. You know, oh my god, this garden is so nice, this turfing so nice.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, you look across the street and you
Across.
see one of the actual ones and it's just dirt.
Yeah.
It's dirt and a walkway, and I'm
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not even the turf. Not even the turf.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing. I wouldn't say it's a drawback, but I think it's one of those warnings
Yes.
that comes with
Definitely.
new builds.
Yeah.
Again, another reason why you want to go with a realtor is because a realtor will be one of the people who wholeheartedly tells you,
Yeah.
this doesn't come with it,
Kind of
dude.
educates you about
This
Yeah.
this brand new this driveway with the grass in between the cracks does not
Yeah,
come
does not
with
come
it.
with that. Yeah. Yeah.
The other people, like, I mean, I've seen some of the salespeople work. It's like, we can make it happen. If that's what you want.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
does this come with it?
Definitely
Good.
agree. In terms of upgrades, actually, I would actually recommend my buyers to not go with the builders.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's because it's
Private contract, dude.
so expensive with the builders. They overcharge. You rather just do it on your own, and
Yeah.
it's much better.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's like, you know, again, when it comes to remodeling
Yeah.
or like redesigning and everything, I think that just usually comes with like general motto
Yeah.
where it's like you usually try not to go with the bigger guys first.
Yeah.
The bigger guys
Yeah.
will find a way to screw you. Will find
Yes.
not screw you over.
Yeah.
I don't want to say screw you over because that's a very, very bad way of putting
Yeah.
it.
Or give you a premium price.
They'll find a
Yeah.
way to make your experience premium.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, try to find something that works for you. You know,
Yes.
I won't say go to a Craigslist contractor or anything, I definitely wouldn't say that, but using trusted people is the best way to go.
Yeah.
Again, another reason to have a realtor, because
Yeah.
we work with those trusted people.
Yeah.
We haven't had him on the podcast yet, but one of our guys, Matthew, I don't know if you met him, but he actually works with contracting company.
Oh, Fortress.
Fortress
Yes.
Development.
Yeah.
They do a really, really good job.
Oh, wow.
Guarantee you, they probably charge less than whatever Toll
Newbuild,
Brothers
yeah.
trying to get you for that singular marble backsplash.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How badly do you want the
Yeah.
vaulted ceilings? So yeah, I mean, honestly, I can't really think of any other drawbacks besides like
Yeah. Yeah.
most of the things that comes with new builds is just you have to be careful.
Yeah.
There's a lot of marketing that's put into them, but outside of that, they are actually great purchases.
Absolutely.
And I would say for first-time home buyers, or people who just want to park their equity into something either bigger or smaller,
Yes.
great places to go.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And one day I'm really hoping I see new builds that are single floor.
Yes. Yes.
Then
Yeah.
that opens up to
Like possibly more of the more of the older generations.
older generation.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
In order to start moving in and getting those
Yeah.
people to come up too, especially now that those people are the ones with the most amount of equity.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who would pay good pretty penny for new builds if they were single family.
story.
Single story.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
because they're not,
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
Yeah, we'll wait.
We'll wait and
There's
see.
definitely, I mean, there has to be some sort of project going on out there. Yeah.
There should be. I really think there should be.
Yeah.
If not, we'll do it.
yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
We will make those. But yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything
Yeah.
that comes with new builds. Again,
Yeah.
if you guys are ever interested in taking a look at new builds or you guys want to learn a little bit more, either reach out to Derek or me. Both of our contact informations are going to be down below. Again, we spend a lot of time looking at these new builds. Maybe too much time.
Yeah.
But all of that is so that we could better equip ourselves to better help you guys. Because we wouldn't spend this much time if it wasn't worth it.
Yes.
Like residential and everything, that comes with experience. That comes with looking at houses, that comes with common knowledge.
Yeah.
Residential, it's there's a lot of different strays that could be thrown at
Yes.
you. Like, oh, whatever person buys this house has to be compliant with the seller doing 1031. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like you'll get a lot of strays, but when it comes to new builds, it's straight, easy, simple. All you need is a realtor to help you navigate what you're going to do with the property after. Navigate what you're going to do before you buy the property, like what's going to come with the property, what's not going to come with the property.
Yes.
What are your closing costs? Should you be using their lender or should you be using your own lender? Like stuff that gets a little bit more specific to help you not only better understand your situation, but also understand like what's right for you.
Yes.
That's one of the biggest reasons why you should reach out to realtors before looking at new builds.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they tend to look at new builds and buy those properties by themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it definitely does work. I feel like you can get a lot more worth if you hire a realtor.
Yes.
And the best part is, you really do not have to worry about paying the realtor when you're.
Yeah.
That's
you
the one
don't.
thing all
That
of
is
us
the best
realtors.
part.
That's the
Best
one
part.
thing us realtors love about new builds
Yes.
is you guys don't have to pay a single thing.
Yeah.
Buyers do not have to pay a single thing, especially with the new lawsuit.
Yes.
All of these buyers, the biggest questions I ask when I sign a new client is, do we have to pay you? And I have to explain to them the whole scenario, like, yes, but you don't have to,
Yeah.
but you kind of are, but
Yeah.
it's not, it's all the same, but it's like, I have to say that it's not the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But then when it comes to new builds, directly, it's just, hey,
Yep.
you got a realtor, we'll pay him.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah.
So it's super stress-free working with a realtor.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the best benefits, especially for first-time home buyers. Talk to one of us. We're always here to help you. We'll always entertain a phone call or a text message. Once again, this has been Ethan.
My name is Derek.
And again, this was the Realtor Roast, the talk show where we roast real estate myths. And Bruce Smart Strategies. Today, I think we covered a really, really good
Pretty
Smart
good.
Strategies, which was new builds.
Yeah.
And I hope to see you guys in the next episode.
Awesome.
Have a great day, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.